The compact crossover segment is so hot that Buick has decided to introduce this all-new model, the Encore. Now, if it looks a little smaller than most crossovers you're used to, well, that's because it is. And who knows, this new segment just may catch on. As with all Buick models, they have the signature big, bold grille up front. And that lets everyone know this is a Buick. And guess what? Buick is no longer at the bottom of the premium barrel. It's now moving up, in my opinion, ahead of Acura. You also have these big, bold lights and, of course, the portholes. Again, these are very signature cues of all Buick models. Now, when Buick set out to do the Encore, they didn't want to just make another crossover. They wanted this relatively inexpensive crossover starting at around $25,000 to look premium. And as you can see, a lot of bend in the sheet metal, a lot of styling cues, and a lot of just high-end materials that you may not expect in a vehicle starting at this price range. When you first look at the Encore, it looks like it might be a little stunted. Well, that's because this C-pillar here seems to just abruptly end. But make no mistake about it, there's plenty of room in the Encore for 4 adults and all their gear in this cargo area, which is of course what makes a crossover a crossover. The Encore is powered by a 1.4-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged Ecotec engine that produces 138 horsepower and 148 pound-feet of torque. Now here's the good news. In the front-wheel drive model, you get 25 miles to the gallon in the city, 33 on the highway. Here's the bad news. It's a little bit underpowered. That 138 horsepower, you're lucky to get to 60 miles an hour in about 11.5 seconds. When you look inside the engine compartment, you can see there's a lot of space here, and we're hoping that maybe a future Encore will include a 2-liter turbocharged engine that they're putting in the Cadillac ATS. Now, from a driver's perspective, the Encore drives very well. It's very quiet. Buick has paid a lot of attention to keeping the engine noise and the road noise down to a minimum, and it feels like a very premium vehicle when you get in it. The steering is good. It's electromechanical steering, but nevertheless, it's responsive enough. The Encore is available in front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Now, with the all-wheel drive, something interesting. What they've noticed is that you need the all-wheel drive for acceleration. So whenever you come to a complete stop, the vehicle will go into all-wheel drive mode. And what happens is, as you start to accelerate, if it detects any kind of slip, for example, if you're on snow or ice or rain, then it'll stay in all-wheel drive up to 37 miles per hour. If it doesn't detect slip, it'll cut that off to get better fuel economy. It'll go right into front-wheel drive mode. As you can see, the Encore is very spacious, lots of headroom, 6'1", no problem. Now, one thing that they could improve on is the center stack. We counted about 40 buttons here, 10 on the steering wheel, a lot of buttons. Maybe they could simplify that. But beyond that, the vehicle is very premium. As you can see, soft leather seats, very soft materials on the dash. All the buttons are nice and premium feel, and that's something you usually don't find in a $25,000 car, but you do in the Encore. Buick understands that connectivity and technology are important to buyers in these segments, so they made Bluetooth and rear vision camera standard on all trims. Only the top 2 trims get full infotainment system with features like Pandora and Stitcher. Buick identifies the key competitors as the Mini Countryman and the Volkswagen Tiguan, as well as the X1, the BMW X1, as a distant competitor. We think for a starting price of $25,000, nicely equipped around $30,000, this Encore makes a lot of sense for a lot of people and is sure to make a difference on American roads.